Hi friends, it's Tuesday. Okay, so I got some interesting feedback about yesterday's video. My whole family was home. I was talking very, very fast because number one, I don't know how long I have until I'm interrupted, and secondly, clearly I'd had a lot of pre-workout. So I wanted to kind of chat through some of the stuff that I said yesterday on hyperspeed. I mean, I tried to upload to YouTube at a quarter speed, but I'm not quite techie enough for that. So you can watch yesterday's video and maybe it'll resonate with you. Cool beans if it does. But I want to talk about a couple of things before I talk about that. So we've been here in Montana for, we're coming up on 3 years, which is kind of crazy how fast everything goes. But I just had a friend message me. She's like, you look so happy. Like, you look so happy. I'm so happy for you. There was a lot of happies in the text exchange. And that's really ironic because I've been feeling really, really sad and really overwhelmed. And I have this permanent eye twitch. But it also goes to show that we all have stuff that we don't lead with. We all have things that are behind the scenes. Everyone's fighting a battle. Everyone has stuff, especially in this weird season of life we're all living through, this pandemic. And so nothing ever is really what it appears to be. And I try and lead with my real, but there's also a lot of things that I'm not at liberty to say. There's a lot of parts of my story that aren't 100% my story. There's things that I can't talk about, battles that we're waging currently, and all of that. But it's all a choice, right? Our attitudes, how we show up to life, our perspectives we choose to put on, it's a choice. And so, I have this permanent eye twitch. I have been feeling such an intense homesickness for Yuma, even though it's not home, but I just have this void in my heart right now. And I am about to text my landlords and be like, I know you're trapped in Canada and I know no one's living in your house. So how about if I come occupy it for you? I'm not going to, but Bob and Brenda, not opposed to it. So it's just a weird limbo, And I think that if you have lived in a lot of places, you get that where is home? Home is where you make of it, up to a certain extent. And I really love Montana. Montana is such a cool place. There's been so many rad experiences. There's been so many gut-wrenching, soul-crushing experiences. It's just part of the chapter. And I'm learning a lot. We're growing a lot. You go to battle, you win. Sometimes you lose. It's part of the process. But my whole point goes back to what I was talking about yesterday, which is about how mindset is so important. And we become what we consume. So you have to take responsibility for what you're consuming. It's so freaking critical, especially right now with everything happening with COVID and fear and it's just such a weird environment. It's so freaking critical that you're taking ownership of your journey and that you're really mindful about what you're consuming and where you're investing your energy and your time and what social media and other media forms you're consuming. So I love personal development. I've always been a personal development junkie even before I became a coach. My challenge is I'm a collector of information. I like to consume and not actually take action. And so that's something that I've really had to put into action the last couple of years is okay, great. It's great to listen to all the podcasts. That's awesome to read all the books. But just if you do Beachbody on demand or you belong to a gym or you join a CrossFit, that's freaking awesome. But unless you take the action, unless you do the daily work, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, it's never going to grow you or change you. There will never be any shift. And it is always super uncomfortable to do the work. It's not sexy. That's the number one thing. People come to me as a coach and they want some magic solution. There's no magic solution. There's no secret sauce. The only secret sauce that there is the one you build. It's the one you create. It's the one that you decide this works for me. And so I'm going to take action every single day and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work and I'm going to be patient because it's not an overnight transformation. And so I'm trying. We're the world's most impatient family and I'm trying really hard to lean in to this current chapter and to just grow and be content. And I don't know if I'm just incapable of being content. I don't know. I mean, at this point, sometimes I wonder if we'll ever fully be happy again. I don't know, maybe it's just COVID 2020, 21 hangover. I don't know. Whatever. That's why, you guys, it's so critical to surround yourself with other people who want to get better at being them. It's not about the highlight reel, okay? It's not about one-upping each other or comparing or anything like that. But I think it's really important to have an inner circle of people who are real and people who see eye to eye with you, but are also driven to be a better version of themselves. And it's not a perfect journey. It's so far from that. But the stuff I consume every day, my stack here that I'm going to talk to you about in a much slower speed than yesterday. This is my secret sauce. This is my what is the word? This is like my battle gear. Like, your mind is everything, and your exterior situation, your external circumstances, like, I really believe it's a reflection of what's happening in here and up here, especially when it comes to your health and fitness journey. If you keep stopping, or you keep sabotaging yourself, or you're finding you're hitting the same roadblock, it's not about your nutrition. It's not about your workouts. It's about what's happening in here and up here, because we keep ourselves stuck. We keep ourselves safe, and it doesn't serve us, right? So, morning routine, so freaking critical. It's why it's the focus of my group this April, because having a morning routine, it's literally how I suit up. It's how I armor up every single day. It's how I put on my own oxygen mask as a mom and a wife and a coach and a business owner and a human. Like, it's just, I could be reactive all day, or I could take a little bit of time, you guys, and front load my day with intention and positivity and mindfulness. So that's why I love affirmations. That's why I have this morning practice. That's why I'm teaching it inside my tribe this month. So if you're part of my tribe, go plug in. We're not talking about it yet because we're building blocking things. Right now, the focus is nutrition, because that's my area of opportunity. And I'm almost done with this program. I have like 3 more workouts, and then I'm done with 9-week Control Freak. And you know what? Katie and I say this every single day we work out, and every single time we finish a program, it's the same thing. How are you? How do you feel? What kind of results did you get? And it's always, if I just tightened up my nutrition, I would have gotten more results. I'm still getting great results. And you know, maybe the reality is, number one, there's some self-limiting belief, and there's some self-sabotage that ties into that. But it's also, at what point do you want to have a perfect body? Like, I'm freaking 43. I had 3 kids in 4 freaking years. I am not going to have abs I can grate cheese on. It's just not a life goal for me. For some of you, it might be your life goal. You rock on with your bad self. I want to have chocolate and whiskey and corn tortillas. I'm happy for the most part. I'm pretty happy. As long as I'm committed and I feel really strong, I think that is way more important than the rest of it. And how we feel, how we look, how we feel about ourselves on the outside is a huge reflection of what's happening inside, which again is why I prioritize a morning routine and consuming stuff that builds you up and lifts you up and makes you feel more inspired and positive and all that kumbaya stuff. So I share these every single day, most days. I have this. What is this book? A Year of Positive Thinking, Daily Inspiration, Wisdom, and Courage. I got this on Amazon for like $13. It's just like a little blurb. I really recommend it. Today's was really good. It said, today is April 6th, which I've been ahead for a few days. If you watched my video yesterday, I was on speed apparently. Don't worry, I'm not mistaking cheese for anything else, but don't make it harder than it is, was today's positive intention, right? Don't choose to make life harder than it is. Rather than getting caught up in the moment, consider the situation that you're annoyed, angry, or frustrated by. I have been feeling so pecked at. And that sounds like so bratty to say, but I've just been feeling that way with my family, like homeschooling, and Marshall's been home a lot. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, we've done some adventuring and traveling, but it's just not a normal year for us or anyone else. I'm not getting out my little tiny violin, calm down. But I think we can all relate to that. Like, it's so easy to focus on the little nitpicky stuff and just to feel pecked at. And so, yes, I have my morning routine, and yes, I work out, and yes, those are part of my oxygen mask. But I had to be honest yesterday night and be like, I just need some space. Like, I need people to stop talking to my twitchy eye. Can you take the kids today? And so he did. You have to say what you want. They're not they're not mind readers. No. So anyways, Charlotte and I have been home today. We sat in the grass. We had a picnic. It's and so freaking awesome. I haven't had people talking to me all day or asking me to help them with their tech or something. It's been freaking rad. So don't make it harder than it is. Is it really worth having a bad day? Could you choose differently? What's your perspectives? Like, what are you focusing on? If you were focusing on the broken mantra that I'm so irritated, I'm overwhelmed, this isn't going right, if you're so focused on that, yeah, it's not gonna be a great day. Well, there is a cowboy walking up my street. You know, I live in Montana. Perspective is a gift, especially in moments of challenge. That was a big aha this morning. So I woke up and I was feeling really bad because I was not a poster girl wife last night. I was very irritable and crabby and I felt super bad. But I'm like, what's the point? Like yesterday, you guys, yesterday doesn't define today. It doesn't, unless you allow it to, unless you bring it into today. So I'm checking it before I reckon it. This video is for you, Tina. Okay, gratitude journal. Every single morning, I just brain dump all the things I'm grateful for. And today it took me longer because I was in this place of like irritation and overwhelm and everyone's in my space. And so it took me a long time, but that's my challenge is every single day I force myself to come up with all the things I'm grateful for. And they're just simple. They're just simple. There's a few of you on this list. The fact that my laundry pile is actually put away, the fact that the coffee pot brews, like those things I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for them. And they're things that I think oftentimes we take for granted unless you're cultivating actively every single day a gratitude practice. Like, what am I grateful for? What simple things that you take for granted can you suddenly become aware of? Because all that stuff, it shifts your perspective. And I just think it's super powerful. So I love my gratitude. Isn't this an awesome journal? Okay. So yesterday, I was puking at you a mile a minute about my amazing stack of books. And I'm going to tell you about them a little more slowly today. Okay, this book, Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. It's a great read. I've actually been listening to it over on Audible. You know, right now I'm in the chapter on relationships. It's pretty powerful. We all have stuff. We all have areas that we can improve. Seriously, just read the book, okay? I talked about it yesterday. This is another one. How to do the work. And then today, it was so cool. I'm not like I'm something special, but I was talking about it yesterday. And then today, I literally saw it all over in way more places than I have. I think this book is getting so much momentum. I am not very far into it, but because this is the kind of thing where I think you have to sit with. There's a lot of layers to our onions, and no matter what your family of origin is like, no matter what your childhood stuff, like we all have things that we can work through, that we can unpack. We repeat what we don't repair. So if there's something that you don't want to repeat, it's time for you to repair it. And it's not about that person or that thing that was wrong or unfair or trauma-y. It's not about those people coming to you. At some point, we have to take ownership of our own life experiences and heal through it. You're not always going to get the apology. Other people's behavior isn't going to change. If they were capable of it or aware of it, and if they wanted to, then they would take action to change it. But like I said, other people, their behavior, their actions, their responses is completely out of my control. The only thing I can control is myself and how I choose to grow and learn and get better and to not duplicate the icky shit. I'm here for that, right? So How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole. You can sign up for free text messages, which is helpful. It's just like a short little blurb, and I don't know. Go find her on Instagram or Facebook, and she tells you how to sign up for it. Morning routine. So 5 a.m. Club, I have yet to start this book, but it's by Robin Sharma. I do believe he may be a monk, which apparently I have like a monk theme going. I don't really know. But this has been recommended. It was in my Amazon cart for like 500 years, so I finally ordered it. I also love Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. There's a lot of power in that. But again, if you're part of my tribe, I'm going to talk through these things and give you little tips and tricks. You don't have to take on someone else's routine. You don't have to carbon copy someone. In fact, you shouldn't, because if your journey looks exactly like someone else's, you're robbing yourself. You're the only you that will ever be, just like I'm the only me that will ever be. And I think at some point we start to think that if our journey doesn't look the way we think it should in our head, if it doesn't start to look just like, Joe Bob down the street, then we're doing it wrong. No, I think you're doing it wrong when it's carbon copy. Like, I love working in sync with other women. I love that. I think it's really cool when we're reading books or we're doing the same workout program or whatever, but like your own results are going to be yours. They're specific to you. Okay. Surrender the comparison. It's not a race. The only person you're in a race with is yourself. Okay. And then I have 2 other books. This is part of my morning routine. It's a morning devotional. I like it because it's short. It's just a page. I always get something out of it. I don't read it every single day. It's called New Morning Mercies by Paul David Tripp, a daily gospel devotional. So I was doing Jesus Calling. I was doing 100 Days to Brave. And I just felt like I needed something new. I like this. I like this. And in here, I have a bookmark. It's one of my affirmation cards. But on it, I wrote down, I am certain. And so that's part of my morning gratitude practice is I write down one whole page of everything I'm grateful for. And then on the other page, I write down my I am certains. Like, what are you certain of? What do you know to be true? We get caught up in like regret. That's the past, right? Anxiety is the future, but what we know to be true is today. That's all we can control. How we show up, how we react, how we arm ourselves, how we put on our own oxygen mask. Like, what are you certain of today? I'm certain that today is a fresh start. I am certain that all the right doors are going to open exactly as they're supposed to. I could freak out about all the pots we have happening, all the pots we have on our stove. If I told you what was actually happening in my life, your head might explode. You might develop an eye twitch just like me. But I'm not going to talk about things that haven't happened, right? Because that's just anxiety. That's a waste of freaking time. It'll rob me of today's joy. And who really wants to hear about it? You'll hear about it once it happens. Okay? So the I am certains, that's been really helpful for me. So anyways, just a little chat, just a little check-in today at hopefully, a more acceptable speed. But yeah, my friend was like, you seem so happy. And I was like, wow, maybe I needed that because I've been looking at my memories and seeing how happy I was in Yuma and being like, am I just incapable of being happy? Like, because I feel so sad and so unhappy. But then I have to remind myself of all the things I'm certain of and all the things that I'm grateful for and all the things that are good in this chapter, in this house, in this current situation. And there's plenty of good. We all have stuff. We all have things. We could, have a little band and play our sad little violins, or you can choose to be a freaking warrior and be like, I'm proud of myself for going through this. I'm proud of myself for choosing my attitude. I'm proud of myself for doing the best I can, even if the best that you can is simply surviving, you guys. I'll drink to that. Suddenly I feel like I need a beer, but I'm not gonna, right? Because it's the final week of 9-week control freak. My nutrition is locked in. Anyways, friends, maybe some part of that resonated with you. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I'm not for everyone. I don't want to be for those of you, and for those of you who don't get me. And if you don't get me, well, cool. That's the whole point of social media, right? We find the people that are our people. Like, we find other like-minded people. I don't know where this, I think we should always be nice to everyone. I really do believe that. I think we should be pleasant and be nice and acknowledge one another. But you don't have to invite people to your desert island. I sure as hell am not going to unless you're one of my people. And if you're one of my people, you know. So show up today, friends. Drink your water, carbonated or not. Remind yourself that you are winning and that you are victorious, and that even if where you're at right now in this chapter doesn't feel like where you think you should be, or it looks differently, or you're in the middle of a freaking hard ass season, I feel you and I hear you. I am you. So one moment at a time. That's how we win. That's how we win this journey. And that's what I shared about today in my workout post. It's not an overnight transformation. It's not a quick fix. It's not a 30-day thing. It's not one workout program, or all of a sudden you're on a nutrition plan and you follow it to a T for a week. That's not what this is. It's a compilation of effort. It's consistency. It's playing the long game. It's believing in yourself. It's doing the stuff even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. It's never about being motivated. It's 100% about momentum. And the only way that you get and keep momentum is to freaking start. So if you need to start, if you need to re-engage, if you need to freaking just find your magic and your joy, let's do it. I would love to chat with you. I am not a perfect person. I don't have a perfect life. I try and lead with my real, which has alienated a whole lot of people. But you know what? Those aren't my people. They don't belong on my island. If you get me, you belong on my island.